Buongiorno, buonasera, good evening, and it's Rocco with another episode of the BOH Podcast. I apologize that I was absent last week. As many of you know, Italy was knocked out of World Cup qualification again. And the game was on Thursday, and I didn't record on Thursday like I usually do because I am a natural pessimist. And especially when it comes to sports team, I expect us to lose every game we play. And that's exactly what I felt on Thursday. I knew Italy would disappoint me, so I was not in the mood to record a podcast. Then the next day, since we did lose, I was not in the mood. And plus my wife stayed home from work, so I couldn't tell her, can you just not talk for 45 minutes? So I just said, you know what, we'll skip this week. I'll come back. I'll look at it again from fresh perspective. And here we are. Italy out of the World Cup. Listen, if you are a true fan of the Azzurri, this is not a surprise. This is not a surprise. Guys, we notoriously play down to competition. We can never just take over a game and destroy anybody. We don't have any players like that. So we notoriously will play down to competition. People are saying, oh, you lost to North Macedonia. No way you're going to lose to Portugal. You can't say that because Portugal's a good team. So Italy would have played up or played to the level of Portugal. When we played North Macedonia, we played down to their level. It didn't hurt. It didn't help that North Macedonia had 10 guys in defense, and all our players are the size of my nonna. Like, seriously, guys, this is a message to all the Italian people out there having kids. Throw some growth hormone or something, or if you're under 5'5", just don't produce. Don't reproduce. We need taller Italian people out there. Because we're showing up to the World Cup where the poor camera guy's going to get scoliosis because during the national anthem he has to go up and down, just to get the faces of the players. But I'm not surprised that we lost. Italy naturally will disappoint us. Just like Inter naturally disappoints me. Just like the Jets disappoint me. Just like, I can't say the Yankees, because, if gun to my head, I'm a Yankee fan, but baseball season is way too long, and I'm not interested. But yes, I am a natural pessimist. I am a negative person. This is what happens growing up in an Italian house. I never met a positive Italian person. And if you did, they're lying. Full of shit. 100%. So, on the other interesting thing happened, which made me happy that I did hold off. I would have talked about it anyway, was the Oscars. I never watch the Oscars. One, because I never know who anyone is. Two, I don't care enough to sit there and just watch people congratulate themselves. I am not a fan. But as soon as I saw on social media that there was some ruckus, that Will Smith slapped Chris Rock, I tuned right in. I watched the rest of the Oscars that night. And it just baffled my mind. First off, before I get to the point of if I agree about what Will Smith did or whatever, I just want to say, I wish to one day reach a level of success and respect that I can walk on stage and randomly slap somebody, go to my seat, and just enjoy the rest of the show. And even be given a fucking award at the same show. Like, no one at the... Listen, this is how you know the Academy people know who's fucking getting the Oscars. Because, trust me, if Will Smith was not winning an Oscar later that night, I think they would have kicked him out. But because they knew he was winning, there was no way they could kick him out. Unless they could do a 180 and give the award to someone else. Which they should have. Like, listen, guy might have been great in the movie, but he fucked up. How many times? Look, Pete Rose can't go in the Hall of Fame because he whatchamacallit, he gambled on baseball. How many things have gotten taken away from people for doing something wrong? They had their opportunity to not even give it to him because he did something stupid. But they still gave it to him. The guy got to enjoy the rest of the show. The guy even got to go to after parties and shit like that. Like, bro, how respected, or, this is the thing, how blind are these celebrities that they don't even, like, get what's wrong? Like, they're constantly telling us on what we should do, how we should think, climate change, hold babies, help this country, help that country. Meanwhile, they can't even fucking control themselves in a room. They can't even police themselves. Like, why the fuck would anyone listen to you now? You just let this guy slap somebody, then you give him a standing ovation 15 minutes later. Like, listen, I am not a stranger to getting slapped for saying something stupid. No Italian kid is a stranger to that. We grew up in the life that if we said something stupid, we were getting slapped. By nonna, by mom, anyone, a tia, anyone would slap us for saying something stupid. Hence why Italians, we question before we say stuff sometimes. But this made no sense to me. But it actually did in a way a few minutes later, because any married man or someone in a relationship has gone through the same thing. Maybe we didn't, fucking go balls deep like Will Smith did, but we've been in that situation. How many times have you been to a restaurant or to anywhere with your girlfriend or your wife, and something happens that pisses her off, but you don't think it's a big deal? You don't see the issue with it. Yeah, you might be like, okay, yeah, it's okay. It's annoying, but she starts getting mad at you for not getting as mad as she does. So she just keeps on laying into you. Now, she is no longer mad at the situation that happened. She is no longer mad at whoever did something to her. She's mad at you, because you are not reacting the way she wants you to react. And we're sick animals, man. Listen, we're simple people. Just tell us what you want. We don't play these mind games. Just tell us, and we'll do it. So now Jada was definitely, because Will Smith was seen on camera laughing at the joke. First of all, if I'm Chris Rock, what I'm annoyed at is that it wasn't even a strong joke to get slapped for. Like, the joke wasn't even that good to deserve that response. It was a minor joke. It didn't even land that well, because G.I. Jane came out how many fucking years ago? That some of the people in that room weren't even born when the fucking movie came out. It was a weak joke. But back to Jada. Will Smith was seen laughing. Jada was seen making that face. And I say that face because all our wives' girlfriends make the same face when they get mad. Will saw the face. Now, we know Will and Jada have that history. Jada likes to get her cheeks clapped by her son's friends, allegedly, supposedly, and I don't know if it's true. You telling me Will's okay with that no matter what he says? Listen, girls, if any ladies listen to this, guys are almost never okay with something. We're just going to say it so we don't have to hear it. So Will definitely has stuff in the back of his mind that he's mad at Jada for. And I think Chris Rock was the victim of that. Because when Will sees Jada not laughing, making the face, he knows he's going to hear it on the limo ride home. He knows Jada's going to lay into him. And she might say something like, and this is why I fucking fuck that guy. I don't know. Like, she might say something like that. If she gets that crazy, who knows? Maybe she's one of those. Because, some girls will get crazy and say the most extreme thing that sets you off. So Will is in his mind that quick second. What am I going to do to avoid having to hear it? And that's the question men ask themselves every day when it comes to their wives and girlfriends. What do I have to do not to hear it? And in Will's mind, the guy, I'm telling you, the guy has stuff going on in the back of his head already. He's nervous because he's about to win an Oscar. He's got all this thing. He gets up and slaps fucking Chris Rock. Slaps Chris Rock for a stupid joke that A, wasn't even that funny. 2, didn't hit the mark. 3, was like a whisper of an offense. And then he starts screaming, keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth. Like, that's what you're worried about, man? Like, your wife had someone's dick in her mouth and then, like, told you about it in a YouTube video for an hour and a half. But Chris Rock saying G.I. Jane, that's what did it. Now, back to the whole issue at hand. And this now famous alopecia. Listen, I know what alopecia is. I have the reverse of alopecia. I have too much hair in too many places. But I want to say one thing. When I've seen people with alopecia, they have no eyebrows. Their head is smooth. You don't even see stubble. You know, Jada's there looking gorgeous with these gorgeous ass eyebrows. Yes, I guess they're probably drawn in, penciled in. And she has like stubble. It looks shaved. It doesn't look alopecia. Granted, everyone's like, oh, she talked about it on her YouTube channel. Bro, you think we're all subscribed to her YouTube channel? It's fucking Jada Smith. Her husband is the more famous one. We're all on his channel. If maybe she posted it there, we would know. But back to alopecia. Looking at Jada, I can tell, like, listen, I know what alopecia is. I'm not an expert. But I would never think she had alopecia just because she shaved her head before. And secondly, bro, she's fucking gorgeous. Listen, she has alopecia. She had to shave her head. She looks gorgeous with a bald head. She looks better without hair than I can look with hair any day of the week. Like, listen, if she was sitting there looking like Uncle Fester, I could see why you get upset. You know, she's sitting there all festered out. You know, all, you know, miserable and stuff like that. But she was fucking gorgeous there. Like, model gorgeous. Like, why are you getting offended? You still look good. You still look amazing. And it's not like she had this long, like, Goldilocks length hair that she suddenly lost. She always had, like, short hair. So it's like, but you know, that's what we are now as a society. Like, being a victim is cool. You know, getting offended is cool. But, you know, it's like, then you had the people out there, oh, Will Smith was defending his wife. You're at the Oscars. Like, you're lucky Ricky Gervais wasn't there. Because Ricky Gervais goes harder than anyone. And then people are like, Jada's famous too. She's not immune to getting teased on. And like, listen, I get it. Alopecia is probably very embarrassing. It's to the person, you know. I don't think it should be embarrassing because I think some people look great with no hair. And that's just me, but I can't tell people how to feel. But it's not. This is where I come from, and it's my personal bias now. This is my personal bias. This comes from my personal experience. We're saying that we need to be sensitive to Jada's alopecia, which is not a terminal illness, as far as I know. I'm not a doctor, remember that. But for the past 2.5 years with COVID, we have undermined, disrespected all the people who we lost to the disease, to the virus. Every time you heard someone say the virus is overhyped, the virus is fake, the virus is this, the virus is that, that was shitting on the memories and the legacies of the people we lost. One of those people being my own mother. So that's what I'm saying, this is my personal bias. Because we were in a society, we still are, where that's okay. Where we don't slap people for saying stupid things about the dead. But someone says something about someone with alopecia, and because that person is Will Smith's wife, it's wrong. And that's where we are as a society. And that's where we're wrong as a society. And that's where I get pissed off. But that's it, you know? Listen, Chris Rock, man, what I apologize is that everything becomes political. And unfortunately, that's what you see. Is that no matter what the situation, like this is not even a political situation. This is a situation between two men. And yet, the lines drawn seem to side politically. And listen, I'm what I don't care about politics. I hate politics. I hate sides. I don't like to pick sides. I just pick a side case by case basis. And on this situation, Will Smith had no business slapping Chris Rock. And maybe it's some of my point as a comedian because, listen, if you go to a comedy show, then you know they're going to say shit. And if your asshole's already tight and burning, you don't go to a comedy show. Especially, you don't sit in the front row. Because if you sit in the front row, you're an immediate target for the comedian. And not because of what you... And not it has nothing to do with anything. It's just that if you're a comedian, you know something. If you've ever been on stage, you know something. Is that you cannot see past the front row. That's why in some of these comedy shows, when they start talking to anyone who's not in the front row, they turn the house lights on. Because we cannot see past the front row. Like when I performed at the Beacon Theater, I couldn't even see the front row. It literally looked like to me on stage, and I tell this to people a lot when they ask me what was it like. I say, imagine going into like the darkest room in your house. You have all lights closed, it's pitch black, and start talking, because that's what it felt like. I could not see anyone I was talking to at the Beacon Theater. So that's why people in the front row are so quick to get picked on by comedians, because we cannot see past that row. But in a way, now you can think about it. If you're one of those people, you know, wear tinfoil hats and think everything's staged and all that stuff, you know you're going to have Chris Rock presenting. You know there's a brief history between Chris Rock, Will Smith, and Jada. You're going to go put them in the front row, knowing that Chris Rock is going to be there. So maybe in a way, the Academy took a chance. Because think about it. Did you even know the Oscars were on the other night? Before the slap. Did you know the Oscars were on? If you even knew they were on, were you going to watch? Were you even watching the Oscars before the slap? No. No one was. The only thing I turned on the Oscars for was when I heard the slap happened. And that's when I started watching. And even then, it wasn't good. I only stayed watching to see if anyone would address what... It reminded me of fucking Men in Black. Because it looked like everyone in that room forgot that someone just got fucking slapped. And the person who got slapped left. But the person who did the slapping is there chilling, hanging out, front row. Everyone's got to pass them when they go to stage. Like if you see that video of Questlove accepting his Oscar, he daps up Will Smith before he gets up there. And Chris Rock is just staring at the guy like Chris Rock was in such shock. Because the guy just got slapped. And like I said, for a joke that wasn't even that strong. And everyone else in the room acted like that didn't happen. Just put yourself in that situation. Imagine you're doing whatever you're doing randomly. Like maybe you're sitting on the train on your way to work. Someone comes over, slaps the shit out of you, then sits down across from you and starts reading the paper. And no one around you even addresses that you just got slapped. That's what happened to Chris Rock. No one even addressed that he got slapped. And then, my favorite part of the entire night, though, was in Will Smith's speech, which was a speech in which he's probably going to win an Oscar just for the speech, for the amount of acting, because he was laying it on thick there. Is when he called out Denzel Washington for like what he said to him, and Denzel had that face like, motherfucker, I told that to you. Because we all been that minute. You give someone some advice, something, but you don't expect them to fucking tell everybody the advice you gave. You were just trying to be helpful. So you just said some shit. Maybe you saw it in a fortune cookie wrapper, something like that. You just threw it out there. You gave it to the guy. He liked it. He calmed down. Then he fucking calls you out. And then, if I'm Chris Rock, I'm like, fuck Denzel. Like, what the fuck? I'm evil. I'm the devil coming after him. I said a fucking G.I. Jane joke. If Chris Rock would have, like, mentioned the whole Jada, like, cheating on Will and all that stuff, then okay. But a fucking G.I. Jane joke that did not hit, that was pretty weak for Chris Rock. I just don't get it, guys. And I don't get how everyone at that place just went on like nothing fucking happened. It's like these people were fucking robots. I don't know, guys. But on that note, hopefully, whenever I have a show, I won't speak about alopecia because, fuck, if you want to slap me, God bless you, I guess. I don't know. Anyone who gets offended at a comedy show is an idiot because you went to a comedy show. You knew they were going to say shit, and sometimes they say shit that it's a little over the line. That's how we roll. So that's it. Another episode of the BOH Podcast. I hope you all have a good evening. I hope your shower is nice and warm. State buono, tutte benedette, tutte buone benedetto. I'll talk to you guys later. Ciao.